Right edition. Hey, my two brothers and I were talking politics the other day, and it occurred to me we're the Wright brothers. Haha, just saying. Okay, there's a typing error recently in Tel Aviv. That would be in Israel that just really destroyed and upset a lot of people's breakfast and destroyed the country for a couple of minutes because a trader put the wrong company into the machine. It was a whole whack of shares. He said sell, sell, and here, of course, before it was discovered, it came out to be the Israel Corporation, and its value plummeted by 99.8%. Talk about just about having a wipeout, before it was found and corrected. And that particular company is one of the largest holding companies in Israel. They deal in fertilizers and specialty chemicals and so on. And they saw the selling company and said, eek, the world's about ended. A man recently has run amok with, and this is in New York, just outside of New York in Elmont, with a bucket truck. He stole a bunch of welders and things one night, and he said, hey, they won't fit into my truck. I'm a thief and I need help. I know what I'll do. I'll steal the bucket machine, the big tractor, put everything in the bucket and away I go. So he was doing that for a while, but when he was leaving, he got a little carried away. He hit a bunch of power lines. 6,000 people were without power for a couple of days. It was a big, bad deal. There was a series of explosions. Something like a Frankenstein movie, said one resident, and everything was blowing up, and the truck took down trees, dozens of utility poles, and 8 traffic signals, and it's going to take many, many days to repair it all. So I know how to fix it to make sure it never happens again. You get a bucket truck registry. Hey, how does that sound? The red chamber, that's a bunch of commies that aren't even needed in Canada. That's the Senate. They're appointed, they're unelected senators that sit around and get a whole bunch of money forever and ever, and they don't do anything except bad things. And now they're saying, hey guys, if you've been charged, you being another senator, just before you get sentenced, if you know the judge is going to say guilty, you resign from the Senate just before that happens, and guess what? You'll get paid no matter what, even if you go to jail forever and ever. How dumb is that? I mean, you talk about enabling a system. These people are bad people. You got to change those rules because, investigate somebody in the government in Canada, wake up and come out of the ether. That is pretty bad. As long as you resign before conviction, you get paid forever. You get rewarded for being a thief. You get rewarded for not having done anything anyway. And if you marry a really young woman, if you're an older senator and you die, she gets your money long after you're a dead thief. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, they need a leader in that country to stand up and man up and say, hey guys, this isn't nice, we're going to change the rules now, kind of get a man on that. Well, there's a Canadian dentist, and he's a pretty forward thinker, this guy. His name is Michael Zuk. He recently paid $30,000 Canadian for a tooth/molar of Beatles John Lennon. Lennon died in December of 1980, and a dentist says that he wants to give John Lennon a second chance at life. That's where the noise is. And he's a god dentist, I guess. He hopes to clone Lennon using DNA. There's a couple of things to take away from this. I think one is gotta love a dentist, and number 2 is collect molars, and number 3, don't be cremated because there could be hope for you someday. Court recently in Canada has rejected the First Nation case against the Canadian/China investment treaty. Finally, something good has happened with regard to all of this red tape surrounding Indian law, because they do have their own special little rules and laws. And they said, Indians said, government, you didn't consult us before you signed an agreement with regard to a China trade situation, and you have to because we're in charge of the government. Said, we're not going to consult you all of the time. I'm sure that it will be appealed and will be interesting to see where it goes. So many people are unaware of this. If you do anything with government property anywhere in Canada, they have to notify the Indian band that it's happening, and the Indian people get together, they have meetings, they get paid upwards to $1,000 per meeting. So they sit around and they talk about it. Should we approve it? Should we not? Typically they do, but certainly not always. Who are they? What kind of input should they have? How about none? Very nice. I can't even imagine, but that is what's going on. Let me tell you a story. It's a long story. Are you ready? I'm going to end today with a story talking about governments and Indians and other things. The tribal wisdom of the Plains Indians in Canada has been passed on from generation to generation. And it says this: when you discover that you're riding a dead horse, The best strategy is to dismount. However, in government, more advanced strategies are often employed, such as buying a stronger whip, changing riders, appointing a committee to study the horse, arranging to visit other countries to see how other cultures ride dead horses. Lowering the standards of the dead horses can, in fact, be included reclassifying the dead horse as living and impaired, hiring outside contractors to ride the dead horse, harnessing several dead horses together to increase speed, providing additional funding and or training to increase the dead horse's performance. Kind of does sound like a government here, doesn't it? Doing a productivity study to see if the lighter riders would improve the dead horse's performance, and declaring that as dead horses don't have to be fed, it is less costly, carries lower overhead, and therefore contributes substantially more to the bottom line of the economy than do other horses. Rewriting the expected performance requirements of all horses, and of course, promoting the dead horse to a supervisory position. All of those things that I just gave you are illogical, but they're logical because that's what governments do. Hey, y'all, come back tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.